There was a pretty nasty storm front moving in the other night when Billy finally got his 55 Chevy ready to take into Columbus to test on the streets. He had just finished putting a new Nitrous Express nitrous kit on the 55, and he was eager to put a tune-up in it and see if it would go down the street on a set of 275s. Unfortunately, after a couple of test passes, the rain moved in and cut short Billy's testing for the night. But the 2 test passes he did get were pretty decent, so he's definitely got something to work with. But the dirty rain that cut short his testing has left the 55 filthy dirty. But thankfully, we recently stocked up on Jack's Wax stuff, and Kenny Powers is on the job.
Big difference.
It's a good thing we stocked up.
Yes.
We're going to have to stock up again shortly.
I know. For me.
It didn't take long for Kenny to get the 55 whipped back into shape. So this brings us to Thursday morning, and by this time, Billy's focus has turned from testing to editing. Billy spent most of the day Thursday in the office, downloading footage and organizing all the clips. While Billy and I were both in the back office editing, Kenny was getting the Biscayne ready to take apart so that we can start installing the air conditioning kit that we picked up at Jegg's the other day. Once Kenny had the car on the lift and the fenders protected, he began to remove the cast iron water pump, the externally regulated alternator, and all the factory brackets and pulleys so that he could start the process of installing the new CVF serpentine kit. These kits come with highly detailed instructions that make installing the kit very simple. Although Kenny got the whole thing installed pretty quickly, we're still going to have to make new power steering lines and install an electric fan. And unfortunately, we're not going to have time to get all that done before the weekend. So we rolled the Biscayne out in the driveway Friday afternoon so that Tommy could use a 2-post lift to work on the Falcon. The boys and I are all getting ready to take the cars down to Edgewater to test on Saturday. But before I can start getting the Malibu ready, I've got to get this slate gray Discovery trailer cleaned up for its new owner, who's coming to pick it up this afternoon. A little bit of Jack's Wax citrus cleaner and about 15 minutes had this trailer looking good as new. Although the gray trailer's leaving this afternoon, we've got a brand new white 24-footer sitting out here that Billy's about to do a raffle on and Tommy's about to use tomorrow to take the Falcon testing. What you doing there, Scooby-Doo?
Sadly, I had to take off my radials.
Oh.
Sad day.
What are you putting on it, 26s?
Yep.
You're going to go test tomorrow?
Yeah, I think so.
Good.
That's the plan.
So,
try them out and see how they do.
I see your brother just went to go get some fuel last second.
Methanol.
Methanol.
Yeah.
So the guy who won this trailer lives in Maryland and he's on his way here. He should be here in an hour or so.
Heck yeah.
I just want to get that trailer cleaned up a little bit because we used it the other night and I kind of got it dirty.
I'm jealous of the trailer.
Are you?
I'm peanut butter jealous.
Are you? Those are nice trailers.
Yeah.
That white one's even nicer.
See, I like a small trailer because you can pack less shit into it. But wait, that's a good thing because it's less shit you got to unpack when you get to the track. And then pack it back up when you're done racing. Because when we bring the big trailer, we just decide to throw everything in it. And then it's like putting 2 pillows in 1 pillowcase. And we're all done for the night. At least with a litter trailer, all you can fit's the damn race car. And, you know, you fit some tools, but, you know.
Unfortunately, we have to take merch with us.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It's a lot. And tools. And fuel.
What do you think?
And a golf cart. And a scooter.
I think it's time to scrape the rubber, or we just leave it in there?
I don't know. I mean,
it's not too bad.
It's not too bad.
It's been worse. Trust me, it's been way worse.
Has it really?
Oh, yeah.
Ugh. Lack of maintenance, Thomas.
What you think we could put some leaf springs back in this thing?
Yeah, you could.
Up? Yeah.
The leaf spring hangers are still there.
Yeah, with our little baby frame rail. Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I reckon.
You reckon?
Yeah.
A few minutes later, the guy who won the trailer showed up. Greg Moeller and his wife live just southeast of Washington, D.C. in the state of Maryland. They had left home at 4 a.m. and drove straight through to pick up their new trailer. It just so happens that Greg and his wife are into Harley Davidsons, and now that they've got this new 20-foot Discovery enclosed trailer, they're looking forward to maybe doing some traveling this year. Congratulations, man.
Thanks, sir. Appreciate it.
You got Harleys.
Harleys are going in there.
Nice.
Yep.
That's a perfect trailer for that, really.
It really is. Plenty of room. Can fit more than I own, actually.
Well, be careful going back home, man.
All right, Bill. I appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for everything.
Yes, sir. Thank you. you.
Once Greg picked up his new trailer, he headed straight for Jack's Wax to stock up on some detailing supplies of his own. Meanwhile, preparations continue in the back shop to get ready for testing tomorrow. But there were a few surprises waiting for Chris as he cleaned up the Falcon. What are you doing, Chris? Pulling dicks out of the car?
Apparently. Just found a big black dick. Tommy's head.
Kenny's got it? Kenny, where'd you get that big black dick, son? You got Kyled again. How long has that one been in there?
Well, let's see. Let's add it to the collection. Hang on.
We've got a collection?
Yep. There. Let me go grab the other ones. Hang on.
Every time Kyle sees us someplace, he sticks dicks on our car. We got Loftist.
You'll have that.
That's how you know you got real nice friends.
That's how you know that Kyle actually likes you.
Hey, you've got a 1320 shirt
I
on.
do.
Look at that. We planned this whole thing. It's all scripted.
It's all scripted. We found every 1320 thing that could be possible.
Here's Allison's. I don't know what mine is. I have a
Allison's
blue
got
one.
a special one.
Right.
The one that I found under my car is rainbow colored.
Wow. You got a special one.
I
I
guess.
already got 2 rainbow ones. You're late to the party.
You're late to the party?
Yes, we got those already.
So you're taking the Falcon down tomorrow. You already got your 26s on. You're getting it all cleaned up. You're getting it de-dicked.
Got my Teddy Grahams.
Got your Teddy Grahams.
Yep.
Somehow I got to weasel my car out of there.
Good, because I need to go work on my truck.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Okay. Well, we'll move this stuff out here in a little bit, and we'll get my Malibu out, let it warm up. I got to check it all out, make sure it's ready to go.
You're taking it tomorrow?
Well, I was going to take the Biscayne, but it's not ready. We've got a lot of work to do. We got to replace the power steering lines and put an electric fan on it and yada, yada, yada.
Go take the Malibu.
Bada bing, bada boom. I'm going to take the Malibu.
You're lucky I'm not bringing my truck.
You're lucky. You're getting stretched by everything you sit next to, son.
It would be a damn shame if I was the one to finally beat you. If I finally got one against you.
About the only thing you've got any hope of beating me at is basketball, son. And we're about to find out.
Let's go. You're late.
What?
We're going.
You got to play at the same time?
Yeah.
Here, hold this, Kenny. I didn't know it was supposed to go at the same time.
What do you think your 2 hoops for?
$23 seconds left. 4 to 8 to 10 to 6. 12 to 6. Oh, he's catching up.
I gotta make it for you.
He beat you. Gotcha.
I gave you a head start.
Congratulations.
I gave you a head start.
What do you
Literally.
What did you win?
Huh?
What did you win?
Bragging rights. You see, shooting hoops around here is serious business. Billy and Tommy both love to play basketball, and we're teaching Wyatt how to shoot hoops as well. Rivalries here in this family run pretty deep, especially when it comes to fuel-injected street cars like this GMC pickup Billy's doing a giveaway on versus all my old-school carbureted stuff. Although the kids cannot deny the simplicity, they still don't like to take advice from their dad. I guess you could say the kids have their way of doing things, and I have mine. I think as both the boys get older, simplicity and reliability will become much more important to them as everything else in their adult lives become more and more complicated. When you're young, the concept of only having 24 hours in a day doesn't mean much, but adult life sand takes up a lot more room in your hourglass, and they'll start to understand what I mean by that by the time they get in their mid-30s. I think it all boils down to me and the boys just growing up in different times under different circumstances. No matter how old we get or how much wisdom we accumulate, we never stop learning new things. It's not that I'm not intrigued by electronic fuel injection and computers. While I can certainly understand the benefits of it, I just don't feel that it's a necessity for me to use it. I've taught myself how to tune engines without electronic data or warning systems to tell me there's something wrong. Although the data and feedback is nice, you still have to rely on common sense to know when something's wrong. So evidently the gauge doesn't go all the way to full because it's full, but it only reads just under half tank.
Yeah. Good to know.
Billy's currently certainly planning on driving this truck to Edgewater tomorrow, but it currently suffers from drivability issues. So we took it out and drove it around and made some adjustments to the tune-up before he drives it all the way to Edgewater. Although we're going down there to test the cars, I also want to take a trip up to downtown to see if there's any major construction or anything else we need to avoid before I plan out the cruise route and checkpoints for Woodstock, the next Plates and 28's Drag and Drive event that John Sears and I will be hosting April 24th through the 27th. It'll be a Woodstock-themed Drag and Drive event specifically for street cars like my Malibu and Billy's GMC truck. With events like these becoming more and more popular, it's all the more important to be ready.
Edgewater, we're just going to test a little bit today. I've got it set up to turn the first kit on in half a second. 0 delay, half-second ramp. So pretty aggressive. That's probably the most aggressive ramp I've ever had on the first stage. This is the first time, hopefully, the first time we'll ever be able to hit this thing with nitrous with a good transmission in it. My original transmission that I had in the car, you really couldn't hit it with nitrous right out of the hole. You had to wait till it got in second gear, because it had a stock planetary set, a stock input shaft. But this transmission, we should be able to get after it pretty early. So we're just going to see what it does on the first stage and go from there.
As I got ready to make my first test hit, I realized that I got paired with Billy in that GMC pickup. Although the truck is capable of making a lot more power than my Malibu, the old school small block Chevy with a carburetor and 700 R4 transmission is well tested. And although the truck is much more sophisticated and capable, I'm much more familiar with driving my car than Billy is driving that truck. Unfortunately, I accidentally red lit, and Billy's truck hardly left the starting line. Neither of us are happy with our performance, especially me, since I evidently still have problems with my nitrous kit.
The nitrous didn't come on. I had it turned on. I checked it last night before I went to bed. I checked the wide open throttle switch. The solenoid's chattered. I put the tune-up in it. I put the ramp in it. Like, I have no idea.
Now, my nitrous kit's been giving me fits ever since it was installed a couple years ago. So once again, I'm going to close the bottle and purge the system down so that I can make sure that the wide open throttle switch is working and that the solenoids are operating as they should be.
Clearly the throttle, I mean, it works. You tested it works. You hear it works. I tested it last night, it works. You go out there on the track and it won't come on. I've got the second stage on a button, so I can just manually hit the second stage if I want to. So this time I'm going to go out, we're going to try it on the progressor one more time. And if I don't feel like the nitrous is coming on in low gear, I'm just going to grab the button and see what it does.
The plate system on my Malibu has two stages. Stage 1 is set up to come on with the progressor, but the second stage is controlled by a button on the shifter. So when the car launches, if the nitrous doesn't come on, I'm going to grab the button right after I make the gear change from first to second.
I grabbed it as soon as I got into second gear, and I could tell it definitely was pulling, like it came on, but it doesn't feel happy. There's something not right. I don't know whether it's the U-joint in the drive shaft or something, but it had a real bad vibration going down the track. Remember the other night when we drove it back and it felt like it had a tire loose or something? Yep. There's something going on in the back of this thing. It's not happy. I don't know what it is. It wasn't so bad that I thought it was going to like come out of the car, but there's something. You know what I mean? There's something. I don't know what it is, but I need to look into that because that was a little frightening. I went through at 135 and it was just like not happy at all. You know what I mean? Oh well. Back to the drawing board.
Billy came over and asked how things were going, and I explained to him the nitrous kit, yet again, isn't working with the progressor. So he picked up the laptop to go through my settings and make sure I haven't missed anything. But he hasn't found anything yet that I didn't already know.
So good news, bad news. Good news is I know that my wiring on the button works. Bad news is the progressor's still not working. So we got something going on there with the progressor. Billy's looking through the laptop right now, just to double check all the settings, because I've been through it I don't know how many times. Jimmy Dale went through it when we were at Lights Out. I mean, I know it's had wiring problems, and I've gone through it and I've corrected things that I found wrong, but there's still some reason as to why it'll chatter the solenoids sitting here in the pits, but it won't do it going down the track.
Billy and I both feel like there has to be a wiring problem somewhere. And although I had thought I'd found all of them, Billy found another wire that's pinched.
Hopefully that's it, you know what I mean? Did you video that?
It's just like that wire belt that goes from the starter to the
All right, so we think we found the problem. I hope we found the problem. One strand of wires, I guess, that nobody has touched in ages. There's a plug on the end of it, so you just unplug the wide open throttle switch, and it's just two wires that go down. You know, you wouldn't think that there'd be anything wrong, but Billy seems to think that when you hit the gas and the chassis twists up, it pinches that wire, and I don't know. I hope this fixes it. It's been a long time of nothing but trouble.
Unfortunately, over the last 2 years, I've found a number of wiring problems, but I have yet to find the problem, and it's been very frustrating. Once again, we thought we found the problem that wasn't the problem. Although so far none of us have had a very good day testing at the track. The beauty of owning a street car is that you don't have to be at the track to enjoy it. Once the staging lanes closed for the day, we all collectively decided to go get dinner and check out the scenery in downtown Cincinnati.
All right, guys, it's Monday morning, back out here in the shop, and we're working on the Biscayne today. My plan, or my hope, or my goal for today is to get this thing running and driving back down the road. Kenny's on his way. I've got the power steering lines off this car. I'm gonna take those down to Mark and go visit him for a minute. Both of the power steering lines are -6 AN on the power steering pump, so the return and the pressure line need to have a -6 fitting installed. And both the lines need to be lengthened a little bit. So I'm just going to have him make two brand new lines for it while I'm down there. We need to get the alternator wired up. Of course, this is a little bit different because the original alternator used an external regulator, where this alternator is internally regulated. And we need to put an electric fan on it. So we got a lot to do today. Sounds like Kenny's on his way in. He's pulling in right now. I'm going to run down to Mark's, get these lines made, and we'll see if we can't get this old car back on the road by the end of the day.
So I hopped in the 64 and started making my way down to Buckeye Lake to see Mark at A1. Now typically when I have him make a new set of power steering lines, he'll send me back to the shop with the fittings uncrimped so that I can double check fitment and clock the fittings where they need to be. Once I'm certain that the hoses are cut to the correct length and the fittings are where they need to be, I bring the hoses back to Mark and he crimps them. Now I noticed this morning that he seems to be hobbling around a little bit more than usual. And that's when I remembered that my brother had called me and told me that Mark's little hot rodding adventure the other day had left him slightly wounded. Now I know Mark's been struggling with his left hip for a while, but if he can't even shift his 4-speed, we may have to put an automatic in his car.
So what's this I hear you've been laid up?
Well, so it seems like our
our test spin that we had the other day, seems that it kind of made my left hip a little bit angry. As you know, I've been gimping around for a while.
Oh, I know you've been
trying to fix
gimping.
my stuff, and yeah, just even though that's a good clutch pedal, it's light. It still was angry. The next day, I couldn't even walk.
You couldn't even walk?
No.
We're going to have to put an automatic in that thing.
Well, it was bad. Yeah. And I wasn't even thinking. I think all the adrenaline overrode all the stuff I was having. So I think it took away the pain. But
well, you're either going to have to get your hip replaced, or I'm going to have to put that transmission out to pasture.
Yeah, something, because it was so bad I even had to call Uncle Bucko in on Saturday to help me.
I heard
some of my projects.
Oh, he complained the whole time.
I mean, that's bad when I get to that point. So
yeah, if you're asking my brother for help, trust me, I know.
Yeah, it was bad.
Hey, did you get him my parts I need for my dump truck yet?
Well, I got him everything we need so far.
Now, the last thing I heard from Buckwheat is that he was waiting on parts from Mark to finish up the brake work on my dump truck up at the farm. So once I get this Biscayne up and running, I'm going to have to go up and check on him and see what's going on. Anyway, after I ran home and clocked these fittings on the hoses, I brought him back down to Mark so he could finish crimping them up. I'm sure one of these days, I'm probably going to put a CVF kit on Vicky's 64 C10. Because it doesn't steer very nicely without power steering. The kit we're installing on the Biscayne today will be the 4th consecutive kit that I've installed on vehicles here at the shop, and it certainly won't be the last. I've already bought another one to put on Mom and Dad's 55 Chevy. These kits make it so much easier to add or keep power steering and air conditioning on your hot rod while looking good too. Once we fired the car up and made sure that the alternator was charging, we checked for leaks and got all the air out of the power steering fluid. Although I thought I had everything I needed today, I overlooked one minute detail. I needed to pick up a fan relay from Jegs so that Kenny could finish wiring up the fan on the radiator. It was late afternoon by the time I got back from Jegs, but we managed to get the fan all wired up and the car ready to take out for its first test drive just before 9 o'clock. Kenny and I went over everything one more time to check for leaks, and then it was time to take the Biscayne out for its first test drive with its new power steering pump, aluminum water pump, and brand new 140 amp internally regulated alternator, which actually made a noticeable difference in how bright the headlights are over the old antiquated external regulated alternator. By all means, these kits are an upgrade for your steering, charging, cooling, and AC system needs. And speaking of air conditioning, that'll be the next project we tackle on the Biscayne to get it ready for its new owner to drive and enjoy all summer long. This old 68 Biscayne would make a welcome addition to anyone's driveway this spring. So anyway, that brings us to Tuesday, and it's time for me to stop up at Bucko's Junk Emporium and see what kind of progress he's been making on my old dump truck. When I pulled in up at the farm, he was standing outside waiting on me with a bunch of tools loaded up in a little red wagon. I've come to check and see how much progress you've made on my dump truck.
Oh, plenty. It's a disaster.
Well, obviously, you've not had any time to clean because you've been so busy working on my truck. That's me being funny. His work area always looks like this. So why isn't the front done?
Yours has the first year for mandatory disc brakes. 1 year only. It started out as 2-piece rotors. They had problems with them. So then they designed a 1-piece rotor to replace the factory original equipment. That only fits 1 year, because in '73 they did a body change, a chassis change, and everything else, and they shaved off 100,000 off of the rotors. So no rotor will fit on these spindles except for '72, and guess what rotors they don't reproduce at all.
So now what? We got to go get spindles.
Yeah, so I called Scott, and he's got a 74 through 75 C30 up there. It's a California chassis. The body's gone. It's just the chassis. No rust, no rot, clean parts.
So now what? We got to go to the junkyard.
We got to climb the hill, so I hope you eat Wheaties.
So now I understand why he was standing out there with a bunch of tools loaded up in this little red wagon. We're headed to the north end of Granville, an area well known for its rolling hills, sandstone deposits, campgrounds, and one particular junkyard located up on Dry Creek Road. The place we're going to today is Buckwheat's Honey Hole, his one-stop shop for mostly GM classic car parts. Buckwheat's been dealing with Scott up at Astro's for as long as he's had a driver's license. And much like my brother, this place is a little different than most. The property that this junkyard is located on was at one time a World War II ammunitions depot. But today, all the structures that are left are either full of firewood or antique car parts. And when I mean antique, I'm talking about cars and trucks that are still laying up there in those hills from back in the 40s. The downside to Astros is the terrain, or what I like to call Mount Astro. So we are making our ascent to the top of the hill. You can't understand until you are here doing this how steep this hill is. And my mule's taking a break. What?
Up there.
That's where we're going? Holy shit. For the record, Scott offered to drive us up here in his Go Devil S10 four-wheel drive shop truck. But Buckwheat here decided he'd rather do it the hard way.
Yeah, you need the experience in the walk. Yeah, mule.
Look how hard it pulls. Film the wagon. You ready?
Yeah. Yeah. Faster. We ain't got all day for drone footage. How about you? Ain't you got that shit pulled yet? What's taking so long?
Bro.
What's taking so long?
What's taking you so long?
All you had to do is go to the junkyard.
I hope you got brakes on this damn wagon to get it back down there.
Oh, I've got fixes for that. What'd you say? Your legs are hurting?
Well, yeah, my legs are hurting. You jackass, he offered to bring us up here in the truck.
Oh, you need the full experience.
You're going to get the full experience here in a minute.
Well, we've made it to the top of the hill. We've found the frame that we're looking for. And now we got to get these spindles off. We got to get these front wheels off, and this ought to be a real treat. Now, before we get started here, I'm going to openly admit I didn't think there was any way possible Buckwheat was going to pull these spindles off this chassis. At least not without a torch and a sawzall. But Buckwheat assured me that he brought plenty of tools, and if he needed a pry bar, he would make do with whatever is available laying around the yard. So when it came time to try and jack this chassis up out of the mud, at first Buckwheat tried a Buick bumper, and then an old rusty rear end housing that was missing its center section. Since the chassis doesn't have a steering wheel or a steering column to turn the front wheels, he improvised. And before long, he was removing cotter pins from ball joints and then using his half-inch electric impact and wobble sockets to take the castle nuts loose. Well, we did it. We've successfully harvested
Boat anchors.
2 really nice rotors and spindles. I was so thankful that Scott came up to the top of the hill to rescue us with his little S10 pickup. I'm pretty sure that trying to get that wagon to the bottom of the hill would have been more dangerous and difficult than dragging it to the top. You got to be part mountain goat to come up here and get parts. Tugging that wagon to the top of the hill was one thing, but having it trying to run over your ankles while being loaded down with tools, as well as these massive cast iron spindles, rotors, and calipers, would have been an absolute nightmare. At least on the way up the hill, you can do that at your own pace. But bringing them back down without any brakes, you'd be at the mercy of gravity. Anyway, we survived, and at least now I think we've got everything we need. Do you have everything you need now?
Yes, sort of.
What do you need?
Well, I'm gonna have to change the calipers out because those have got different calipers, so I'm gonna have to ruin Chumpy's day.
Give me a time frame. How long is it going to take you to get this finished?
Day after tomorrow.
Long time no see.
Long time no see.
I've been a little busy. I have
You
a
have.
new life now.
You have a new life.
I'm full-time grandma.
Full-time grandma.
Yeah, it's different.
Definitely
Very
different.
busy. He is walking now.
Yes. Everywhere.
He was late bloomer because most babies walk by their first birthday, and he's like almost 16 months now, and I thought he'd never walk, but once he did it, flip the switch, he's just all over the place.
Right. So we had to put him back in the house. We tried to do this with Mr. Pookie.
But he just wants that.
He was highly attracted to
Toys.
the Blazer.
Yeah.
So I picked this up the other day to help keep him occupied.
And he does love it.
Oh, he loves it. I've been making upgrades.
What do you mean upgrades?
Well, See, it's electric. It doesn't have a carburetor. So I did the next best thing.
Oh my gosh.
It has a sound system.
Well, that's kind of cool though. It's not stinky and noisy.
Hey,
It's indoor approved for wintertime activities.
yeah. Well, at least it shuts itself off. See?
That's pretty neat.
Yeah. So you just turn it on and you just bump the throttle and it starts up. And I can download all different sounds off the internet. Oh, yeah.
Download sounds?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I'm high tech this day. You know, come on. I've got a YouTube channel now.
High-tech
and-
grandpa.
Yeah, and I've got 2 laptops that I know how to use, despite what my brother has to say. Anyway, here's what we got tonight. Here's what we got tonight. You got new merch on the website.
Yes.
That's a big deal.
So
You
the
haven't even
giveaway-
talked about that.
Yeah, the giveaway for the Biscayne is going on right now through May 2nd. Every dollar that you spend on the website is an entry to win the Biscayne. So, and then we're going to draw the winner I think it's around May 8th.
So me and Kenny just got the CVF serpentine drive installed yesterday, and now we can start working on putting the classic air system in the car. So it will have air conditioning
Air
now.
conditioning is important because if we're going very far, I don't want my hair wrecked.
Correct. And you just got your hair done
I
tonight.
did just get my hair trimmed
looks
today.
pretty.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So with the new giveaway comes some new stuff. We've got really nice new hats.
Mm-hmm.
I love these. Looks great with the cardinal red shirts. These are an old favorite that
Mm-hmm.
everybody always loves. The Driven by Freedom 55 shirt.
Mm-hmm.
There's koozies. There are keychains. There's probably about 8 different colors of keychains now.
There's a whole bunch of new shirts and designs on the website that
There's 2 new Biscayne shirts, a Biscayne hoodie. There's a metal sign. Old
Oh,
Man's
really?
Garage. Yeah, there's a metal sign. It's like a, I don't know what you call them, CNC, like. what do you call
I'll have
that?
to check that out.
Yeah, check.
I haven't had time.
And in another week or so, I think there's a new shirt coming out that you haven't seen yet. It's a surprise.
Oh, no.
I've been working with Robert on a new design.
Here we go again.
You'll like it.
All right.
Okay. Let's talk about some events because I get a lot of messages and emails. Where are you guys going to be this summer? And
Look, we don't know where we're going to be. we
Well-
don't know where we're going to be tomorrow.
But I could tell you, I want to tell them a couple that we're pretty certain we're going to be at if Mother Nature cooperates. Okay. First of all, this coming Saturday, the boys are going to be at Orlando. There's an
Yes.
event called TRC No Prep Saturday at Orlando. They're
Okay.
going to be there.
Now, you and I are not. We're
We are
staying
not,
home with
yeah.
the baby.
But they will be
the
there.
kids
They're
will all be
flying
down there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Then April 10th, 11th, and 12th, Small Tire Gangsters at Yellow Belly, Grand Prairie, Texas. This
Yep.
is Jimmy Dale and Poland's race, and the whole family's going to be there.
All of us.
All of us.
Even Mr. Pookie.
Yes.
Okay.
We'll take the Pookie Palace, and it'll be a good time.
All right.
Then April 25th, 26th is the Edgewater Woodstock thing.
That's what I'm working on.
That's what you're working on. That's going to be a big event. I pray we get a gorgeous weekend, and I might cruise my El Camino in that cruise.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
All
my
right.
hope. Then May 15th, 16th, and 17th, we're going to Rockingham for that streetcar bragging rights.
Yes.
So I
I'm
wanted
looking
to
forward to
mention
that.
So
I just got to get my Malibu straightened up. We're getting really close
how many times have you said,
every time.
this is it, we figured it out?
Every time. But we're getting close this time. Seriously.
Listen, even if it isn't fixed, we're going to be there.
Yeah.
I'm going to be there.
Well, I'll just grab the button on the damn shifter and just let it go. I know that works.
I haven't been to Rockingham in a couple of years because you guys have been, the last time I didn't get to go. So
Yeah.
I'm excited to go back down there. We've got a lot of North Carolina friends. So
Yep.
anyway,
All right. Is that it?
I think that's it. Good night, everybody.
Thank you.